Hey you guys, how's it going? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited and I'm so proud of myself. I just I just have to say I'm super proud of myself and I'm really happy with this journal and the way that it, you know, um told me to make it and finish it. Sometimes when I'm working on the cover, well, sometimes first of all, like sometimes I'll do the cover first, like pretty much get it exactly how I want it. Other times do it at the end. This one I kind of worked on the entire time I was working on this journal. So um I just wasn't happy with it until I was, right? And sometimes that means a lot of flowers. And so this one wound up with a lot of paper flowers. And I really like the color scheme. I basically went, off of her dress. Um, and then I picked up just this kind of dusty purple that's in the flowers in her hair. And this is a vintage postcard that I think it came from, the writing is in Spanish on it. And I, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was from Ecuador. I don't know. Anyways, and then, some other little metal flowers and a little bit of a blingy flower right there. And then I went a little crazy with the spine. I just attached a bunch of like scraps of seam binding that I had, and I thought that turned out really pretty. And then I did a little dangly charm bundle, you know, and that's on a um, what is that stuff called? Ball chain. Anywho, and then I don't know if you remember on my live stream, I did a flip through of the micro mini journal that I got from Jill Fox, who's in my Facebook group. And it was so cute the way she did the closure on that little micro mini junk journal. And it's a way that I've seen books bound before, or closures actually done before, and I really liked it. And what I like about it is not just the way that it looks with the double, um you know I guess, closure or whatever, the double tie. um Not only is it pretty, which I think it is really pretty because you can use the different colors or whatever, I think it's actually a lot sturdier, especially for a really thick journal like this. Sometimes with a real fluffy journal, just using a single closure in the center, sometimes it just looks off to me. Like it just doesn't look sturdy enough. You know what I mean? And so then I wind up using like a bigger hitch post or something like a little knob or whatever. And then it just winds up being too big. And anyway, so I just really like the way that came out. So yeah. And I did use a hitch post at the top and the bottom on the front. And then it's just, through some eyelets on the back. So this cover is a cover that I actually made months and months ago, back when I was playing around with the encaustic, the beeswax, and collaging and that kind of thing. And just, I had it actually stitched together. I had the signature sewn in, but I sort of lost my inspiration and my oomph, to finish these. And I actually have 6 journals that I'm going to show you, but this is kind of like the mama of all of them, okay? Because this one's pretty fluffy. So so you can see on the back a lot of the I'm calling it like decoupage, but really I think it's encaustic is what it's called, with the wax. So you can see like fibers, and there's some glitter and book paper, and a little bit of a kind of a steampunk sort of feeling to it with the gears, and there's some vintage postcard like scraps on the back here, and I just really love what happens with the beeswax. And this was actually done on top of a crackle paste finish that I had dyed with the walnut ink. So a lot of work went into the cover. In fact, I was going to say actually, but yeah, in fact and actually, anyways. So let's take a look inside, and I'll flip through it. And I do have this listed as we speak in my Etsy shop. I decided to just go ahead and list all of the journals before I did the flip through, just because that's just where I was at. So I just went ahead and did it. So there's a pocket on the front cover with some journaling tags and random ephemera, mostly in the form of advertising. Not really a theme necessarily to this journal, but I have gone a little crazy making paperclip embellishments lately. Pretty simple ones, really, just with you know, some kind of item like a button, or in this case a little filigree like flower shape. So some vintage book pages, some coffee dyed pattern paper. This is from a new book, but it's vintage images of some fish. And I used little pieces of a snippet roll, a vintage like snippet roll for the tabs. And on some of them I just attached a little charm, a little bead charm. So, and then some little wax paper pockets, flower book pages, some music paper. I'm going to flip a little quickly, and then you can see I started attaching postage stamps to paper clips. So you'll find these throughout a lot of my journals in the months to come. Yeah, I went a little crazy. So, and this is just a little, I guess, a card that has it's tracing paper on both sides, and then I just added some little cutout or punched out shapes from book paper, you know, on one side, and then stitched it all together. So some coffee dyed writing paper. It's stationery. Some onion skin paper, and some more ephemera, you know, journaling cards and things like that. I started just adding little bits of postage into these bags now and then, just to kind of share it, you know, because I do have a lot of postage. This is another paper clip. This is an old airmail envelope that like folds up. And so there's a little pocket that runs the length here, and then this is also a pocket here with 3 journaling cards in there. This is from an old catalog of like hardware for furniture and stuff. This is also onion skin paper. It's a different weight of paper. It's pretty thin. It's a typing paper. Oops. Looks like I glued that down. Well, that wasn't good. I'll have to... Oh, dang it. Look, I just ripped that off. I will fix that. Dumb and dingling. I didn't know what the heck was going on when I tried to turn the page, but I'll just glue that back down, and I'll put some washi on it or something. But this is actually a tuck spot, and there's some ephemera in here. I like to save the flyleaf pages from books, and I just fold them up and stick them in journals, you know. This one has a little bit of a scribble on it. I think it's cute. It's probably from a kid's book. And some of this advertising is some that I've scanned and then reprinted from a really, really old magazine. Little funny pocket in the center made out of a paper bag. This is a really old vintage like hardware pamphlet or a catalog. Some more journaling cards, and I think I missed the other side of this bag on the other side, so when I fix that pocket, I'll add some stuff to the other side of this bag. It's a glassine envelope. This is just an old black and white picture of a little girl. I thought it was really cute. Some serious, like, mathematicians there. Another paper clip with some postage, a couple little pockets on each side here. Book pages. This is a book of, or a chapter on roses from a gardening book. This is a really old atlas of California. It's like really detailed street maps of California. This is an old science workbook. This is also a paper clip with, some ephemera, and this is a piece of decoupaged book paper with some paper napkin. Some more goodies in this bag here. This has just an image stitched onto some book paper. Oh, and then I added some of the, what do they call these? The gold bond stamps, and then also some green stamps in this pocket. Came across a large stash of the gold bond stamps, so I'm sharing those. Isn't that cute with no head? There she is. This is from the Ladies' Home Journal, the really super old Ladies' Home Journal, and those magazines are gigantic. They're just really big. So folding those advertisements up, I just, tear them off the side and then fold them up, stick them in books. A lot of 40s ephemera, 30s and 40s ephemera in this journal, as well as the other ones that I'm going to show you. And the other ones are smaller than this one, but this is an old gas bill. This happens to be from 1969, but someone's gas bill from New York. From my favorite book, Garden Flowers in Color. And this is just a little, this was going to be the cover of a mini journal, and then I decided that I liked it on this page, so I just made it into a pocket. And this is also a little pocket right here. Another little vintage glassine bag there. A couple of tags. Oh, this is a tuck spot. I forgot. See, I thought that was a pocket. Oh my gosh, I'm sleepy. At least I didn't rip it this time. So this is a tag made out of some book paper. Another piece from a gardening book. I think it's the Garden Flowers in Color book. And this is actually a bridge tally card right here that I used as a tuck spot. This is really old. This is from 30s or 40s too. And this is just a piece of paper folded up in the shape of an envelope. And some reprinted ephemera. Another flyleaf page. If I can figure out how to open it. There it is. And some more advertising. Lots of advertising in these. This is a paper bag that I got from Ace Hardware. I talked the guy into giving me a whole stack of them one day. But they're super cute little paper bags. Onion skin paper. There's another bag with some book paper from the flower book. This is from a different like art book. That's actually a pretty famous painting. Some roses. I can't remember who the artist is. This is from a coloring book. Also from a coloring book. This is from an encyclopedia. This is another paper clip. Tuck right there. There's two pieces here. This is a receipt from a department store, and then some ephemera. This is from an old math book, trigonometry book. Some music paper, and then like a double pocket, double tuck, or whatever you want to call it. the center of the signature with some journaling cards and things like that, and yet another paper clip. Let's see if I can get it back on there. There we go. And some tags that I've made layering acetate and book pages and stitched on the sewing machine. There's another one. And there's some more postage in this bag. Whenever I have like little tiny envelopes and things like that, I try to fill them up with something, and lately it's been postage stamps. So there's another paper clip, couple journaling cards here, some more printed advertising ephemera. This is a big book, you guys, and a lot of authentic vintage ephemera in this book. It's not all reprinted. Matter of fact, most of it is original from magazines. This is an old like a gift card, like that came with a gift, you know. Hope the gift I chose turns out to be something you wanted especially. See, so cute, the little bird. This is from some kind of like a divider, like a, you know, organizer. Paperclip, paperclip jukebox. This is from an old stamp collector's catalog. Some more of the gold bond stamps and some postage in here. Coffee dyed paper, obviously. All right, the last signature. It's from a driver licensing handbook. This is Ladies Home Journal, this advertisement. Just a really old glassine envelope there. Some ledger paper. That's actually vintage ledger paper too. It's another paper clip. A couple little journaling cards in that pocket. And yet another one. And another picture of a couple of little girls. This is just a tuck spot. It's not a paper clip, actually. I forget what's in these books, you know. I forget what's a pocket and what's a tuck spot and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, but I'm really, really, really happy with this journal. I really, honestly, I love it. And see, like this little envelope is filled with postage stamps. And it's actually a paper clip. Of course it is. Everything's going to be a paper clip now. And this is another book page stitched onto another book page. Some more advertising from the actual magazine. Another pocket. You guys get the idea, right? So when I show you these other ones, it's going to basically be more of the same type of ephemera and stuff like that in those, just on a little bit smaller scale and not as many pages. I'm guessing there's about 300, 350 pages probably in this book if you count front and back. And this actually flips out, and that is also a little envelope with more postage inside. Another advertising page. Other side of that bag with the vintage postcard inside. And then the back cover, I just tucked in a whole bunch of random ephemera and things like that in here. This is like a receipt from an appliance repair shop, and then this was like some kind of flyer that might have hung on someone's door or something. Some more decoupage napkin on some, that's actually a Mother Goose book. And there's the end. So I generally don't count the number of pages, but I have a pretty good guess that it's, like I said, right about 350 pages. And this book actually, the measurements are in the listing, but it is actually 9 1/4 by 6 1/4 by about 3 inches thick. So there's that one, and I can't remember what I titled this book, but you'll see it. Okay, and by the way, I still have my 20% off sale running on any purchase over $100 of merchandise. So yeah, don't forget about that. All right, so here's the next one. And this is just a little guy, sort of little. It's, I'd say, medium guy. And I don't know if that's a boy or a girl in that picture, honestly. I think it's a girl, but then I also think it's a boy. And I don't know. Huh? Is it a girl?
I think so.
I know. See, I think it's a girl too, and then I think it's a boy. I don't know. Anyway, so this one I think is called Red, White, and Blue. And I just went crazy on the spines on these, you guys. I never do that. But I just really like the way it turned out on that big one. So I just went ahead and kind of embellished all of the spines with, you know, fabric and, you know, twine and stuff. Anyway, so this one I did the double closure again. Did a really hefty bundle of charms and tags, and there's a key on here, some kind of little steampunky type stuff, some gears, and there's a butterfly right here. I think there's like 3 or 4 of my little, you know, handmade tags on here. So attached with some ball chain through an eyelet on the corner of the book. This one doesn't have the hitch posts. It actually ties on the top and bottom. And I went with like a double layer of seam binding on the front and the back. And let's see. I guess, and it's also the encaustic, you know, method of like decoupaging or collaging stuff onto the cover over crackle paste as well. All of these basically have the same treatment on the cover. So this is just like a little journaling card or whatever. This envelope has some tags in it. I'm just going to flip through it pretty quick. There's 10 photos on the listing. You know, and if you need to slow this down to like slow motion or something to get a better idea, go for it, you know. I'm just going to flip through it, like I said, pretty quick. That's a brand new love stamp, but I thought they were so pretty. I bought a book of them the other day. Yeah, I've got a lot to show you guys, so I'm just going to kind of really flip through it. This was a considerable gap between the two signatures, so I went ahead and added some trim down the center. I don't like having a real wide empty space there. And I didn't want to make it into 3 signatures. There's another one of those pockets. I love these. I think I'm going to make some more of those. I think I've used almost all that I had. Paper clip, little bundle. I think there's 3 or 4 of those in here. Some more of the Gold Bond stamps. I'm sounding a little stuffy, huh? My gosh, I made the best lasagna, you guys. It smells really good in here. Just saying. Just another paper clip. This is actually a paper clip. No, it's not. That was a lie. I did some paper clips just like that with paper flowers. So, okay, so that's that one. I'm just gonna set it aside real quick. Okay. And then this one, oh, measurements on this one are, let's see, it's about 6 3/4 by 5 by about 1 3/4. This one measures, I think it's 5.5. Yeah, 5.5 by 4.5 by 1 3/4. I love this one. I love the brown and the kind of earth tones and stuff. This is some wedding dress satin that I coffee dyed and then made into some ruffles. I really love the way that turned out. It looks so pretty. It's so soft. I attached a paper flower on top of it and then a little tag. It says Soar. And this has a hitch post closure. I did another little bundle of charms and tags and stuff on this one. Not a ton, but you know, it's a good amount. And you could add a lot more on here. I also just added a bunch of pieces of seam binding onto this on the spine. So this little journaling card is actually a pocket on the back. This is a paper clip attaching these pages or these papers to the page. So I'm going to flip quickly, you guys, because I don't want this to be an hour and a half long. But lots of genuine ephemera in this one too. Magazine advertisements and some reprinted stuff, you know. If it's old enough, then, you know, I can get away with doing that. This one has 3 signatures. Even though this is, I think, the smallest of the 6 journals, it has 3 signatures, which, yeah, I'm a weirdo. Okay, so book paper, some old playing cards, this little tuck spot. Lots of book pages from gardening books in these. I'm on a gardening kick lately. Gardening and birds and butterflies. Maybe it's because it's spring and summer, right? All right. There's that one. And then, and I think that one is titled Soar in the shop. So then there's this one, and this one's called 7 Little Sisters. And I have just like stuff from all over the place. Okay. So this one is like 6 1/4 by 4 3/4 by about 1 1/4 inch. And this one is also the double closure with vintage seam binding. I left the cover basically natural on this one, and I just attached some lace. I rebuilt the spine on this because this book was real thin, and this is just like about, I don't know, 3 or 4 layers of lace and fabric sewn together on my sewing machine, and that's what I used to bind the book. There's a little bundle of charms on this one too. Some of my tags, some charms that I picked up recently, and then I put corners on this book because the corners were kind of dented and, you know, kind of damaged. So this is a tuck spot with a little tag in the front. And I usually, whenever I attach an envelope, I usually leave the back open so you can use it for a pocket. Lots of journaling space in these. All of these journals. See, lots of birds. I can look at birds now. I used to have a hard time with birds. They just reminded me of somebody. So, but I'm better now. An old postcard. And I gessoed some of these pages, these book pages. Some of them I just actually painted with a real thin coat of acrylic paint, like a matte acrylic paint. Okay. So this one, I'm going to say, and that other one, the other two, probably between 200 and 250 pages, if you count, you know, front and back on them. This is a double pocket. There's quite a lot of journaling space, a lot of paper in these, lots and lots of ephemera, lots of coffee dyed paper too, coffee or tea dyed. Oh, Momo needs to come in. Hang on just a second, you guys. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, finish your food. She's being so stubborn about eating. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so that one's flipped. Okay, and this one here, oh my gosh, I love this journal. I simply love it. Like, I love the colors. I love this ribbon or trim or whatever. I know it's a little bright, and it's a little bit brighter than the seam binding, but I don't care. Like, I just really like it. I like everything about it. And I went to town on the dangle on this journal. I just went crazy. Pulled out everything that I thought would look good. There's even a little yin yang on here. You know, so if you wind up with this book, just take some time and check out all the little charms and stuff that are on there. I love these new little flowers they have at Joann's. They're really pretty. Okay, and this little tag says just breathe, and I think that's really good advice. So again, the encaustic cover over crackle paste, and again the wedding dress satin coffee dyed into a ruffle, made into a ruffle, and then some pink kind of graduated size of paper flowers on there. I'll show you the back real quick too. And I did do the book corners on this book. So you can see the crackle paste coming through, you know. I really like the way that looks. Very vintage. All of these are, I would say, very vintage and very feminine, you know. Possibly a little more feminine than what I normally do, I think. So, okay, let's flip through it pretty quick. This one's pretty fat, you know. There's of the 5 smaller journals, I think this one might have the most content, you know. And they all pretty much have the same amount of like embellishment and stuff, but and I did fabric tabs on each book. Each one is different. I really love doing these. You know, I just love making journals. I love, love, love making them. And you know what's really fun for me to do is to go into my shop and I look at my not expired, but my sold out listings. And I love going way back to like the beginning of my shop and looking at the journals that I've sold. And it's so amazing. It's just so cool to think about how the books that I've made have gone all over the world, literally. And it just, I don't know, it just makes me feel really good. It makes me really happy. It's just really nice to be able to do something like this that I love doing and, you know, and share it. So I'll stop before I start crying, but really, it's just amazing. And you guys are all absolutely mind-blowingly awesome. And yeah, I'm just really happy to know you. Okay, so that one is officially flipped. See, look at this thing. It's huge. I love it. And I love pink and orange together. I think that's part of the reason that I love this one so much. Okay, last one. And this one is really, really cute. Look at how much seam binding I put on the seam or the spine. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Okay. I might just start doing that on all my journals. You never know. All right, so this one has a hitch post closure. It's just a really nice little vintage book. I think it was called the Emerson's Birthday Book, and it's like a book that you would record people's birthdays in. Um, and I covered up the title on the front just because I really wanted to use this postcard. So, and then I just added some trim here and a little bit of Inca Gold on the image with a hitch post closure. And this is vintage seam binding. This book was in really good shape. I love the um, integrity of this book. It was really sturdy. So I did rebuild the spine and made it a little thicker because it was pretty thin. So lots of little ephemera. I think I've got 4 or 5 little bundles of um, stuff paper clipped in throughout the book. This is like a tuck spot. And again, if you want to see it, like I'm trying to make sure that if you slowed this video down, you could go in slow motion and, slow the speed down and you could see every detail if I just keep going. But I'm going to go quick still. I'm almost done with this one though. So, like I said, these are all active listings in my Etsy shop right now. And of course, I'm going to add a link to the description to my Etsy shop. And I don't think I need to add just a link to the, directly to the listings because they'll just be in the, at the very top of the list if you click view all items or something like that, I think it is. Yeah, and then so you're still going to get free shipping, domestic shipping at the $50 mark. And then, like I said, 20% off at the $100 mark. So it's a good time to save some money. And yeah, okay. Well, listen, there we go. There's all 6 of these little journals. Well, 5 little ones. 1 giant one. See, in comparison, this one is considerably larger, right? But lots and lots of yumminess. And like I said, very vintage and very feminine, each one of these. So I am happy, happy, happy. And I'm so happy that you guys watched this video. And if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them on the video. If you really, really need to get a hold of me and you really want my attention quick, the best way to do that is actually on Etsy or to my email address. But Etsy is really the best way because sometimes I don't check comments as much as I should on YouTube. So, I just forget. I forget to check the comments. And then sometimes I feel bad because I'll have one sitting there for, 24 hours and I haven't responded or anything. So, but Etsy is the best way to get my attention. So, okay. Well, listen, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you don't mind. I would really, really appreciate it. And then share this video with anybody that you think might, be interested in junk journaling or, smash booking or anything like that. Somebody that you think might like them. That would be awesome. And then I'm going to include the link to the Facebook group that I started about, I don't know, I think it's 5 or 6 months ago, Junk Journal Connections, and we'd love to see you there. If you do send a request to join, just make sure and answer the questions. There's just a couple of quick questions, so that would be rad. And I will see you tomorrow on my live stream at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, I'm done talking. I love you guys. Bye for now.